gains resources का hub एक platform एक space जहाँ हर founder कहे bro this is my place marketing हो या tech legal या mentorship every startup thing का यहाँ मिलता solution quick just one click and your hustle gets speed Fazi is the partner every founder needs 10K recommendations buddy I'm on fire India ka future builders aim higher and higher From solo founders to teams on the rise Fazi ke saath sabki growth multiplies Data insight AI ka fuse Right resource match nobody can lose Fazi nahi platform pura support system Entrepreneurs lift kare that's our mission So through banalo break every delay Desh ka startup highway welcome to Fazi Energy for the mindset ready Building dreams steady with your buddy Fazi
Very warm evening to one and all. We are starting the session in just 2 more minutes. Stay with us. And yeah, we hope to have a very wonderful, knowledge enriching session with our speaker, Mr. CA Ankit Jain, today.
Yo! Fazi आ गया इंडिया का इंजन स्टार्ट एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के लिए ये है ग्रोथ का हार्ट सब में बड़े बजट टाइट हम करते इग्नाइट प्रोटोटाइप से फंडिंग तक we set it all right from Baro Bazaar to Bengaluru lanes Fazi is the bridge between ideas and gains resources का hub एक platform एक space जहाँ हर founder कहे bro this is my place marketing हो या tech legal या mentorship every startup thing का यहाँ मिलता solution quick just one click and your hustle gets speed Fazi is the partner every founder needs 10K recommendations buddy I'm on fire India ka future builders aim higher and higher From solo founders to teams on the rise Fazi ke saath sabki growth multiplies Data insight AI ka fuse Right resource match nobody can lose Fazi nahi platform pura support system Entrepreneurs lift kare that's our mission So through banalo break every delay Desh ka startup highway welcome to Fazi Energy for the mindset ready Building dreams steady with your buddy Fazi
Hello, and welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for joining the session today. And we are very excited to be hosting all of you in today's session with Automating Accounting for Your Growth and Revenue Stage Startups by CA Ankit Jain. This is a session, this is a space for founders, entrepreneurs, and businesses that are looking to grow. So we have our speaker with us, Mr. Ankit Jain with us. And without further ado, this session by YZ and CFO Mantra, Clarico. Yeah, thank you so much. We have Harshit ji also with us. So we will be starting the session now. And before we start, there's an important announcement. We have put the session link, the meeting link in the chat box for all of you. If you want to invite any of your fellow founders who can benefit from the session today, feel free to share it before we begin so that they can take the maximum use of today's session. So, welcome Ankit ji, welcome Harshit ji, and I would love to quickly introduce you to our speakers today, tell you about their experience and how they have been, what is their experience so far. So, CA Ankit Jain, ex Price Waterhouse Coopers professional, brings deep expertise in direct and indirect taxation, compliance, and financial structuring for growth stage companies. As co-founder of CFO Mantra, he actively drives sales acceleration, strategic planning, and leads key client advisory mandates. CFO Mantra is an AI-powered SaaS platform that automates both accounts receivable and payables. It optimizes cash flows through automated invoicing, bot-based payment collection, smart settlement, and accounting early payment cash discounts from vendors, real-time cash flow dashboards, targeted to an Indian MSME sector and startup ecosystem, focused on companies doing sales on credit to enterprises. That was a short and sweet introduction of our speaker's background today and what they're building. Over to you, Ankit ji and Harshit ji. I would love for you to take this session forward.
Thanks, Ridhima. It was a pleasure introducing us. Thank you. Warm welcome to all the recipients today and the attendees of this meeting. So, Ridhima, should we wait or should we start off the presentation? I don't. People are still joining in, I believe.
Yes, I guess we can start now.
We can start. So
Yeah.
let me allow you to please allow me to share my screen. I will first like to probably give a short
Yeah.
presentation around today, and then we can probably take up, or you can just keep posting your questions, and somebody can stop me in because I will not be obviously able to see the screen. So if anybody can just moderate the session, or that will be of great help. So I hope my screen is visible to all, and I can start off.
Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah. So I
Yes.
think. The first slide that the first question I think every entrepreneur faces is cash flow to scale. You know, promoters, founders, everybody is interested in understanding how the cash flows work. Uh, Primarily cash flow crisis. I think सबसे बड़ी problem की बात करते हैं. The problem statement is very clear and right in front of us. Growth stage companies, revenue companies, market driving companies, तीन जगह फंस जाती हैं. First is working capital trap. Obviously, everything costs money. If you have product, if you have built a product which is a SaaS based product, which you have built a deep tech into deep tech, or you're into hardcore manufacturing. One problem that does catches up is hiring takes a lot of money. Inventory costs a lot. So the working capital trap is always on. You know, people are always in that thing. Other thing is that even if you started generating revenue, do you are actually realizing your money? You know, another trap that generally people fall into is very often is that because every startup at the growth stage generally are in a lean shape organizations, so they're dependent on manually chasing for money. The debtor days keeps on rising. To give you some context over this, I think an important update is that RBI says that DSO right now is around 65 plus days, which is heavily for startup stages. We're generally cash typed, so that's one part of the job that has to be manufactured on. So what is the solution? I think the solution or the forecasting, 13-week forecasting. We generally prefer to suggest all our clients to have a 13-week rolling cash forecasting available, which will primarily talk about any kind of visibilities, what cash inflows and outflows are going to come in, how you can probably see your 13 weeks going in, which primarily is going to give you 3 months of working capital, 3 months of arranging money if you have to do that, and how you are going to probably not ensure that the money doesn't take into a download. सबसे बड़ी problem, you know, when the working capital takes a hit, the bigger problem is that people do not tend to, the team members get demotivated. So despite of results, despite of everything, the demotivation kills in. People do not work as effectively they should. So this is one of the ideal ways of doing it, 13-week forecasting. I'm sure you'll have thousands of questions around it. So the one of the questions that comes around is what happens with investors outlook, which I'm trying to cover in this slide. Investors do not prefer profit or loss. I think that's one thing that every growth stage company should realize and understand. Investors generally prioritize cash flows or cash flow statements. They want to understand how much working capital is with the money, is with the company. So कितने दिनों तक आप survive कर जाओगे if the funding doesn't come in. Very important. Monthly analysis actually gives people insights on how monthly collection versus expenses are going to provide out. Again, as I said, money running out, payroll commitments, operational expenses, there are various scenarios. So people have to be very, very bothered about getting into MI stages when, especially at a startup stage. So what is the solution? As I said, lean team hai, sab kuch hai. The solution is getting into softwares, getting into automations where you know how much money can be expected in the coming periods and how you're going to sustain yourself out. So automated reporting from the finance tools are going to be the lead way for the future. And I think for startup stages, it is very critical to be into this entire domain and game out of it. Anybody wants to ask anything right now, or should I go ahead to the next slide or get into more details probably if somebody can help me out with that?
So yes, guys, if anyone has any question or anything to, set the context for today's session, you can go ahead, raise your hand, unmute yourself and say it out. So that will be an interactive, two-way interactive session. So you can engage with the speaker and you can introduce your company a little bit, or if anything specific that you want to ask. Okay, so I think Ankit ji, right now we don't have any questions till now. So
Sure,
if you have any questions, you can keep dropping them in the chat.
I'll do that. I'll take to the next slide. Profit clarity. बहुत बार क्वेश्चंस आते हैं सर. एज अ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट आई फेस दिस क्वेश्चन थाउजेंड्स ऑफ टाइम. The bigger problems, product line performances. People do not even have any analysis ready for cost tracking. So cost centers tracking is one of the most important problems people face. हम लोग सब खर्चा करे जा रहे हैं. Probably everybody is expensing out money. We have built CFO Mantra. I have built CFO Mantra. I have built Billiantra. People, I have spent money in because I have not even realized what is the CAC right now with us. Same problem I think बहुत सारे promoters के साथ यहाँ पे भी होगी, where products are driving profits and which are not. हम लोगों को कोई एनालिसिस ही नहीं होता है. People tend to just work on single track कि हमें product build करना है. वो product profitable है नहीं है, how is that becoming visible is something that is very important for every startup to be understanding, and how this can be helped out with the software. That's something to be tracked in. Gross margin insights, as I said, people have to be worried about gross margins. अगर आपका gross margin ही negative है, your direct money is not earning. Product pricing takes a toll on it. So investors no longer, we are not living in 2021 era, 22 era जहाँ पे हम लोग प्रोडक्ट के आइडिया की स्टेज पे फंड रेज होता था, या प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी के ऊपर कोई कंसर्न नहीं होता था. पीपल वर जस्ट बर्निंग मनी टू गेन ट्रैक्शंस. राइट नाउ पीपल आर फोकस्ड ऑन अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि जो आपने प्राइसिंग बिल्डअप करी है वहां पे क्या आपके प्रोडक्ट लाइन में प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी आएगी या नहीं आएगी. As I've mentioned in the slide also, that if there's a 30%, if below 30% margin पे gross profit margin पे काम कर रहे हैं, are you actually making money, or do you even will be able to survive, is the question that should be brought into your ears. It is something that people should be worried about, and it should be visible to them. Again, a golden rule होता है, 80-20 rule, which we call it. One of the auditing rules that we have been using primarily in the corporate world is that it says your 20% of your revenue is going to contribute 80% of the expense, and 80% is going to contribute just 20% of the expenses. So you have to analyze how you are going to do about it. Every analysis is very important. Everything, the decision allows strategic decision on pricing. अगर आपको कोई प्रोडक्ट को आउटसोर्स करना है, कुछ प्रोडक्ट को डिसकंटिन्यू करना है, that is one part that you should be definitely taking in. Again, all these analysis, everything has to be done for every growth stage company, revenue generating company. This has to be done at the very starting. आप स्टार्ट में नहीं करोगे, प्रॉब्लम्स आएंगी. प्रॉब्लम्स ये आएंगी सिंपल सी कि आप लेटर स्टेजेस पे you tend to be lenient about it. So it is very important for people to start doing it immediately, and rather than waiting for the nth hour to come in. Shrinking margins, as I said, understanding the cause of declining profitability. बहुत सारी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी को हिडन एक्सपेंसेस होते हैं, विच वी डू नॉट इंश्योर. लैक ऑफ विजिबिलिटी नहीं होती हम लोगों के पास. कॉस्ट राइज हो रही है. आपके स्टार्टअप है सर, आपने जब स्टार्ट किया था तो आपने बोला कि मैं रेंट पे ऑफिस लूंगा जिसकी कॉस्ट एक्स होगी. नेक्स्ट ईयर आया वो एक्स प्लस हो गई. How about taking that hit on the revenue side? Nobody anticipated that revenue expense. This is a very small example. आपकी टीम है, उनको सबको अप्रेजल मिलता है 5%, 10%, 15% का. आपको एक अप्रेजल देना पड़ता है ईयर ऑन ईयर. उसका प्रॉफिट, अगर आप एक SaaS बेस्ड प्रोडक्ट में या एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोडक्ट में, जनरली वो प्राइसिंग आप नहीं चेंज कर रहे हैं. सो क्या उसके लिए आपको स्केलिंग बढ़ानी है, आपको अपने सेल्स मेथोडोलॉजी को इंप्रूव करना है, सो दैट इफ योर मार्जिन्स आर डिक्लाइनिंग एंड योर कॉस्ट आर राइजिंग, आप लोगों को ये समझना बड़ा जरूरी होगा कि मेरा टारगेट ऑफ सेलिंग हैज टू ग्रो अप. सेम गोस फॉर हिडन एक्सपेंसेस. बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं जो लोग सोच नहीं पाते हैं. इन्वेंट्री फॉर एग्जांपल, हम लोगों ने कितनी बेंच स्ट्रेंथ रखी हुई है. इफ यू आर टेक्नोलॉजिकल कंपनी, इफ यू आर रनिंग अ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंसर्न या ट्रेडिंग कंपनी, आपने कितनी इन्वेंट्री रखी हुई है, कितना आपने कंट्रोल किया हुआ है. जनरली हम सब द ग्रोथ स्टेज फाउंडर्स एक मोनेटरियम पीरियड के बाद एक लोन लेके बैठ जाते हैं. उसके एक इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट होती है जो आपको 1 महीने, 2 महीने, 1 साल बाद, 6 महीने बाद दिखनी शुरू होती है. Does that actually be helping you guys? Are these expenses killing your businesses? We all need to be reading this, we all need to be learning this, and we all need to be understanding this all the time. Again, cost, lack of visibility, मैंने बड़ा clearly बोला. हम सब लीन ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में काम करते हैं. जैसे मैंने स्टार्ट में ये बात बोली थी, क्या आपके पास उतना डिपेंडेंट एक अकाउंटेंट या फाइनेंशियल एक्सपर्ट है जो आपको ये सारी चीजें निकाल के दे रहा है? You will need support on financial expertise matters where it is required. जो मैंने आपको चीजें बोली थी, नो रॉकेट साइंस बिहाइंड इट, एवरीथिंग इज प्रीटी विजिबल. आप सबको पता है, एज प्रमोटर्स आई बिलीव एवरीवन इज एजुकेटेड इनफ टू अंडरस्टैंड ऑल दीज थिंग्स. The problem is nobody is ready to talk it out. The financial experts have to do that. So lack of visibility is one part where I definitely come in and cross to a lot of people saying that why the margins are shrinking, because there's expenses हैं. वो जो expenses आप लोग देख ही नहीं पा रहे हैं या सोच ही नहीं पा रहे हैं, उनके ऊपर एक problem आती है. So it is important, it is prerogative you get into that space and monitor financial matrices consistently. Again, all these things can be done through softwares, but at the same point of time, if you want to focus on getting manual processes because they're going to be affordable for you guys at this stage, those can also be achieved. I think I will talk about it in my next slides. In case of any questions, I would love people to raise hands. Nitya, it's becoming a monologue kind of a situation. So any questions up till now will be of great help.
Yeah, Ankit ji, thank you so much for the information that you shared till now.
Sure,
I
man.
would like you to, explain to our audience a little bit of what could be some situations, some real, real case studies that you might have come across that you just explained, like hidden expenses. So, how could it be impacting the business, and how could founders actually, account for them at the very start of the financial year, or how much should they be, how should they be looking at their finances? So, if
I
any tips can be shared right here, so that would be very helpful.
Absolutely. So I think one part that I would definitely like to talk about is building up a miscellaneous, reserves for themselves. Generally होता क्या है, जो हमने अभी तक पिछले I think I qualified in 2009, so I've been in this market for 18 odd years. One thing that I've seen is people do not take into account the payment period from the customers. आपको आपकी sales हो गई, you have the sales, but आपको पैसा ही नहीं आ रहा. You are paying interest on that money. Your margin is shrinking. For example, there is a client of ours who is running a manufacturing concern. So they have a DSO of 91 days. प्राइमरली प्रॉब्लम क्या है उससे, प्रॉब्लम ये है कि आपने उनको मार्जिन दिया 5% का, उसमें से 2% तो आपने इंटरेस्ट पे ही लगा दिया. सो यू हैव लॉस्ट ऑन योर प्रॉफिट मार्जिन देयर. आप 3% के ऊपर अपना इंडायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस रन नहीं कर सकते बिजनेस को. सो दैट इज एग्जैक्टली one problem that is there. Second thing that hidden expenses के अंदर आती है is when you analysis your payroll costs. A lot of times क्योंकि आपके margin shrink हो रहे हैं, you don't need to hire more people. You need to hire people in the wrong direction. आपको sales team बढ़ानी चाहिए. People tend to hire purchases, or they want to stink out on purchases. So that is one part that we definitely come into picture, जहाँ पे हम लोगों को कहते हैं कि अपनी payroll cost को reduce करना शुरू करो. Work with thin teams, work with lean organizations, outsource करो. Ideology very simple है. First, the initial idea is to survive. The initial idea is to make a profitable business where the business is surviving on its own. You're not no more dependent on equity or debt. So there are two of the examples. One thing that I love to tell my audiences or my clients whenever they interact with me is build up a reserves and surplus of around 15% of what expenses you have incurred in the last year. If you are able to do it in 5%, which is the thumb rule, it's excellent. But agar nahi hota, you are at least not taken aback. You are at least able to manage the entire show with having just 5% margin around it. So we tend to suggest people that you should take into that thing into account where you are going to do that. Sorry, 1 second, please. Anything else I can answer?
Yes, please. I think this is a great opportunity to ask any questions that you have till now, or anything that you would like to share before we move on to the next slide. So you can type it in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and we can allow you to unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
Should
I actually, hello, this is Abhishek here.
I
Yeah, hi
Actually,
Abhishek. Hi.
yeah, maybe I might have joined a little late, so I don't know. But Ankit, I didn't get a chance to know about your background and your company and like what is your core expertise with this.
I'll answer that, sir. So I am chartered accountant Ankit Jain, sir. So I qualified in 2009, worked with companies like PricewaterhouseCoopers, the Big Fours, and moved into creating Clarico first in 2013, which is typically a consulting company where we offer services ranging from virtual CFO to handling the compliances of all the organizations of bookkeeping and everything that we can do. Further, in 2023, I ventured into creating a software business called a CFO Mantra, we are typically an AI-driven AR and AP management tool. We try to work on the cash flows of the companies and try to improve them by giving them a SaaS-based product. We are typically not an accounting tool. In CFO Mantra, we typically work towards working besides an accounting tool, or working with engaging with the professional financial advisors the company have. So they can be chartered accountants, they can be management consultants among them. That's what we had. That's my background, sir. With regard to specialization, in Clarico, we do definitely, have a decent enough clientele size, which includes some of our clients by the name of Red Tapes, Campus, just to name few clients which you probably would have heard about. Bharat Certis Limited, Cofco Internationals. We do a lot of internal audits. We do a lot of management controls audits for them. We also work in the space, as I said, of virtual CFO, where we have companies starting from as early as 10 lakh rupees on a yearly revenue to 60 to 80 crores, where we act as the CFOs and we try to work on with them in the PNL domain, ensuring that the PNL is primarily into positives and giving them insights about their MIS and all into those details. Abhishek, I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Uh,
I think we can move to the next slide and you can take up the next questions after this.
sure. Next slide. Talk about compliances. I think बहुत सारे startups के साथ ही problems हैं. I would now bring in some interesting things here. GST compliance की अगर हम बात करते हैं, compliances day by day people are getting worried. Mr. Modi or the Ms. Sitaramani, they're introducing compliances which are easing off people. It's not difficult. I think as a chartered, my first advice to every person sitting in this room is compliances are not difficult. Just ensure they're done on time. They are done the right way. Have a consultant who is answerable to you. Don't be worried about regulations. No rules in this entire world. And I think as a CA, I'll be very honest with you. Yes, there are gray areas. There are gray areas in everything. But uh, if you have the ideology of remaining compliant, India is one country where you can remain compliant. It's not necessary you will never be non-compliant. There are ways around it. Just ensure that the consultant with whom you're working has the knowledge and the expertise in handling all that. Again, I'll bring in some points today about GST and payroll compliances. GST compliance, if we talk about navigating multi-state regulations efficiently, again, आप लोगों में से कितने लोग होंगे, I don't know, कि जो multiple states में काम कर रहे हैं, who are trying to open up stores, who are trying to, work in having multiple level of GSTs. So बहुत बारी आते हैं कि regulations अलग हैं, deadlines अलग हैं, significant challenges हैं business के लिए. Complicate your accounting processes. Yes, they can. Again, I repeat, yes, they can. But if done effectively and done diligently, they will not. It's not a time-consuming job. Sorry. Somebody saying anything. Should I continue? I think I don't.
Yeah, I think that was very much.
Sure, no problems. So one thing is, as I was talking about GST compliances. So GST compliances, again, input credit risk, very important. You need to have your understanding. You need to have your reconciliations done on a monthly basis or on quarterly basis. I think, I don't know, आप लोगों में से कितने लोग revenue generating हैं अभी, which are greater than 1 crore or 1.5 crores. In case you are not, then you can do this compliances on a quarterly level also. Not exactly B2B space, but regard to your B2C clients at least. With regard to input, you have to ensure you work with right companies who have had a decent background of filing their income tax returns. So as I said, आपकी intention सही होगी तो compliances अच्छी हैं India में. Please be understand. If you're working with the right people, then they will come out with the GST backgrounds का clean. आपको बहुत ज़्यादा issues नहीं आएंगे उसके अंदर. Again, automated solutions is one part of the job. बहुत सारे softwares in GST के around. Multiple GST softwares are there, and a lot of people work with a lot of softwares. It reduces your manual effort. You need to be ensuring that the details are provided to the financial consultant at the right time, and you need to be ensuring that you are getting the right requisite data back from the consultant at a point of time. Again, I think somebody has raised a question. I'll just take that question after this payroll compliances. So with regard to payroll compliances, again प्रॉब्लम्स क्या है? प्रॉब्लम्स ये है कि हम जब स्टार्टअप फेज में होते हैं, हम रैपिडली टीम को ग्रो कर जाते हैं. लेबर लॉज आ गए पीछे से. आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ यू वुड हैव हर्ड दैट देयर आर लेबर लॉज व्हिच हैव इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन नवंबर 2025. Labor code was introduced, trying to uniform everything out. So compliances are there with regard to payrolls also. PF, ESI are compliances, professional tax, and they are on multi-state level. Problems hai, no doubt about it. But yes, again, the word is intention. If your intention is correct, if your managing consultants are equipped enough to handle everything out, they will be able to handle everything out. Just ensure that the guys are, the data is provided accurately. Salary structuring is one issue. I think हम सब जब hire करते हैं at startup stage, we tend to give people, advices on how to get more cash in hand. Because as a entrepreneur, हम लोगों को वो tool use कर लगता है कि हम जब अपने लिए टैलेंट को हंट करेंगे, सो वी नीड टू हैव बेस्ट ऑफ द पीपल्स, बट दे वोंट जॉइन इन बिकॉज हम लोग उनको सैलरी ब्रैकेट अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकते. बट विद द राइट सैलरी स्ट्रक्चर, यू कैन गिव देम द बेस्ट कैश इन हैंड अपॉर्चुनिटी. You might not be able to give them the best money, because that's but then there are ESOPs which are available, so you can work on those sides with the best talent in the industry. Again, automate solutions. For example, हम लोगों ने भी recently client takeover करा है. We are giving them an HR product. uh, we have bought it. Great HR is the product that we have bought in for them. And it's amazing. वो monthly उनको reporting में help कर रहा है, pay slips के लिए उनको help कर रहा है, उनके PFSI auto calculate हो रहा है. So again, the softwares have to be implemented and they're not expensive. हम सबको लगता है softwares is the most expensive thing around. Softwares are not expensive. Just the fact that you have to understand the cost of compliance. If you will understand the cost of non-compliance is much higher than the cost that you're going to pay for a SaaS-based product, it actually eases your burden out. So that's one part that I definitely like to talk about people, where I say ki compliances ke andar please have proper automation done and be ready for everything. It will save your time, it will save your headaches, it will save your money. For every startup, time is money. Every startup that we talk about, your time is the most precious thing that startup has. Please value that, and automation is one solution for it. Somebody raised a question before I take this slide. So, Ridhima, you need to probably just tell me. There was a hand raised.
I think green. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, ma'am.
Hi, this is Dr. Anu Sharma, and
Hi,
my
doctor.
startup name is Green Power Biotech Private Limited in Lucknow. We are
Sure, ma'am.
dealing in organic pesticide manufacturing. Actually, uh, because of the CA point of view and GST compliances, I don't know much about it because I am from the research field and my team is not that much big. So, for the all compliances, we have hired the Pune team, and for GST filing, I have one person. So my simple question is that if he is handling my GST, like I have also login ID and password, and he is handling, he is filing. So is there any issue in the future? Uh, what should I monitor about him? Like if he is doing all things properly or not, how I will know that he is filing all properly? Uh,
So,
so
ma'am,
it's a simple question, how to
yeah,
handle it.
I'll answer the question. GST portal के ऊपर एक summary report आती है.
Okay.
And it's available once the quarterly returns are uploaded. आपको ना दो चीजें देखनी है. मैं आपको बड़ा basic insights देता हूँ. First thing is, what is the interest that you have probably paid in the last quarter? आप कितना revenue generate कर रहे हैं, if you don't mind? मतलब just a vague
नहीं
idea.
अभी हम लोग प्री रेवेन्यू है बट वी हैव लाइक मनी का ट्रांजेक्शंस हो रहे हैं कंटिन्यूअसली बिकॉज
So
टेक्नोलॉजी
you have
ट्रांसफर
input
ग्रांट्स ये
credit
सब
that has
चल
to
रहा है
be taken into,
या
right?
या
Yeah. So, ma'am, I'll be very honest with you. बहुत कुछ आपको देखने की जरूरत नहीं है. Just ensure two things. आप उनसे एक मंथली रिपोर्ट ले लो. आपको ना 2A नाम की एक रिपोर्ट होती है, GSTR 2A. So if you will take that GSTR 2A download from them, you will see कि आपको किस किस क्लाइंट ने इनपुट दे दिया है. And you have to just ensure कि जो 2A के अंदर आ रहा है आपके, वो मंथली उन्होंने 3B के अंदर फाइल कर दिया है. And your input is valid with the books of accounts. So generally there is a reconciliation which happens between 2A versus 3B versus books of accounts. अगर वो reconciliation
ओके
सही है तो आपका यह purpose is resolved,
ओके
because
और
there is no.
सपोज जैसे कि हम या जैसे हमने कहीं से टेक्नोलॉजी ट्रांसफर किया हमने पैसे दिए तो जो जीएसटी हमने भरी है वो जीएसटी फाइलिंग के लिए उन्होंने बताया कि वो जीएसटी अकाउंट में मैडम आपके रहेगा तो
हाँ,
वो जीएसटी अकाउंट में जो आएगा रिटर्न उसको आगे कैसे यूज करना है
मैम जब सेल्स होती है आपकी, जब भी आप रेवेन्यू स्टेज पे घुसेंगे, जब आपके सेल्स होंगे, आपको उस
Okay.
स्टेज के अंदर हम लोग जो आपका आउटपुट होगा हम उससे मैनेज करते जाएंगे. सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल
अच्छा.
हाइपोथेटिकल बात करते हैं. You have
Hmm.
right now zero revenue, so you're not collecting any GST for any sales. So
Yes.
you have probably paid 100 rupees for the taxes part of the money that you have paid for the technology. So उस
Mm-hmm.
situation के अंदर मैम, how it will work is, जब आपने सेल्स करनी शुरू करी, so you will have 2 rupees 5 rupees of tax that you will be collecting from people. That
Hmm.
100 rupees balance will start depleting out of that. You don't need to deposit
Okay.
that 2 rupees or 5 rupees or 10 rupees to the government. They will start
Mm-hmm.
subtracting that or depleting that 100 rupees reserve that you have created in your books right now.
और क्या
What?
इसका कोई टाइम पीरियड भी होता है क्या, कि इस ईयर का जो है अगर नहीं अगले ईयर यूज हुआ तो वो
There are no
मतलब आगे चल के?
no
ओके.
time periods attached. You can definitely you have to just claim it. So the law is very clear. You have any your input for financial year 25-26 assumption है मैं भी यहाँ पे,
हम्म.
they
हम्म.
can only be claimed till November 2026. अक्टूबर की जो रिटर्न जाती है 2026,
हम्म.
उसके अंदर जो आप इनपुट क्लेम कर देंगे सर वही आपके लिए एप्लीकेबल है. उसके बाद आप इनपुट नहीं ले पाएंगे वो,
ओके.
as per the law,
थैंक यू सो मच.
purely as per the
ओके,
law.
थैंक यू.
Sure, ma'am. Any
Yeah, I
other
think
question?
we can move to the next slide.
We can move to next time. Scaling your finance system, I think one of the most important agendas for the meeting. Now, transitioning to the cloud system, हम लोग सब में challenge है. जैसे मैम ने बोला हम login credentials लेके बैठे हुए हैं, and GST is a cloud-based site. You can open it anywhere and you can. It's a very good example that has actually happened. So this is exactly what we are trying to tell people, and we're trying to suggest. आप लोगों को entrepreneurs work 24/7. They say we work 365 days a year and we work 24/7. So when you're working to 24/7, 365 days in a year, then you're transiting to a cloud system. Should there be a transition, or in today's era, there should be only be a cloud system? As per me, there should only be cloud systems available. Sir, आप सब entrepreneur हैं. The audience here, ma'am and sir, everybody is an entrepreneur here. So you should definitely get into invoicing on cloud, so that whenever you are sitting anywhere you can just send it across. One of the suggestions that I suggest is, don't be dependent on your lean teams, or don't be dependent on your salesperson, don't be dependent on your accountant. Have a cloud system. Have a look. At any point of time you should be able to see कि मेरे को बिलिंग करनी है तो मैं कभी कहीं से भी बैठ के बिलिंग कर सकता हूँ. So you might not be, so your startup might be based out of Bombay or Hyderabad, Bangalore, anywhere in the country, Lucknow, as ma'am was there. So but you have come to Delhi, let's assume, for a event, for a function, for a personal function also, but there is an urgent invoice to be raised. If you are in a cloud, you can send it across immediately. Yes, when you have reached a stage, when you have definitely reached a stage where you have 50 invoices monthly, you need a proper accounting system to be implemented, like Tallies, the Zohos of the world. Till that time you are not at that level, for cost saving purposes. And that's the idea is, hire companies like ours, hire companies like Bill Yantra comes in. The objective is very simple. आप कहीं से ही बैठ के अपनी बिलिंग करिए, उनके ऊपर देखिए कि आपको कितना पैसा कब कहाँ से आ रहा है. Your dashboard should be as easily available. It should be providing real time data access to you guys. Again, it adds a value to the picture. आपकी जो cost of staying manual है, that might be huge. But the cost is, you might have a sales order, and unfortunately because invoicing नहीं हो रही, वो payment उस दिन वो कर सकता था, वो बाद में नहीं करेगा. मुझे, again I repeat, the audience are at multiple levels of business stages. So there are costs. When you're going to actually be into revenue generation, and I'm sure some of you might be into revenue generation, you would be probably hearing a lot of reasons. Some of the reasons which my clients tell me, which I've also faced as an entrepreneur, is यार याद नहीं दिलाया तूने मुझे याद दिला देता, मैं पैसे दे देता. आज मैं आप एंटरप्रेन्योर है सर, आप एक कंपनी चला रहे हैं, आप टेक्नोलॉजी की तरफ फोकस करें. जैसे मैम एक रिसर्च ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चला रही है, मैम रिसर्च स्पेशलिस्ट थी, डॉक्टर अनु, एंड वी टॉक अबाउट. रिसर्च स्पेशलिस्ट का काम नहीं है पेमेंट के लिए फॉलो अप करना. Systems can follow up for that. So that is one part. Get into things where you get into cloud-based solutions at all the times. You have reconciliations with your ledgers. लोग ये नहीं बोल पाए हमने आपको पैसा एडवांस में दे रखा है, क्या वो लेजर मिल गया है हमें, या आप किसी एक्सटर्नल पार्टी पे डिपेंडेंट है जहां से आप रियल टाइम क्वेश्चंस पे उठा के उनसे आंसर कर रहे हैं. Automate your systems effectively. Again, as I say, you have to pick up a system which is not cost heavy and which solves your purpose. Multiple channels and multiple softwares, but do you want to really be doing accounting right now or focusing on your product? सेलिंग पे ज्यादा फोकस होना चाहिए रादर देन डूइंग एन अकाउंटिंग थिंग, डूइंग मैनुअल प्रोसेसेस के अंदर रह के हम बिजनेस को ग्रो नहीं करा पाएंगे, हम बिजनेस को ग्रो करा पाएंगे जब हम प्रोडक्ट के ऊपर और सेल्स के ऊपर काम करेंगे. So that is one advice that we definitely like to tell people to scale up operations. Now, building up a finance function, I think one part we have done this for a lot of clients, Abhishek and all who has questions. So one thing that we definitely like to talk about is hiring cost-effective solutions. I actually spoke about in the last slide. Cost-effective solutions are the way forward. Leveraging tools like Bilyantras, the Zohos of the world, the credit flows of the world, they actually help in. अगेन डू यू रियली नीड जो अगर आपको लगा जो मैंने पहले तीन बातें बोली हैं, जैसे where you would need expertise of the finance people to come in, hire a virtual CFO, hire a team of people who can be there available for you on a call, not every time, but yes, in a three-time manner. You are having the MISs to update, you are having the accounting systems to update, you have the requisite compliances done on time, you have the entire database around which you. मैं आपको एक बड़ा छोटा सा बात बताता हूँ. एंड इन द लास्ट 18 or 20 years of my business in this profession as a chartered, I have seen investor deals break because they don't have a proper data room available. डेटा रूम क्यों नहीं होता? डेटा रूम इसलिए नहीं होता बिकॉज लोगों को लगता है कि डेटा रूम तो हम बना देंगे जब डेटा मांगा जाएगा, पर वो डेटा मल्टीपल अकाउंट से कलेक्ट करने का भी एक टाइम और एफर्ट है. पीपल वो डेटा मिलता नहीं है, फाइनेंशियल कंसल्टेंट्स के पास होता है, वो अकाउंटेंट्स चेंज हो जाते हैं बीच में, सो डेटा प्रॉपर्ली हैंडओवर नहीं किया जाता. अगेन वी आर लिविंग इन एरा ऑफ एआई, वी आर लिविंग इन एरा जहाँ पे अब लोग कहते हैं कि हम खुद सॉफ्टवेयर लिख लेंगे क्लॉड्स एंड की मदद से, जो हमें चाहिए वो क्लॉड ही लिख देगा हमारे लिए. या चैट जीपीटी का भी एक प्रोडक्ट है कोडेक्स, they can write the basic level of software, and we are still living in a hard era. Why do you want to do that? You can have people who can do that for you. You can do it at a fractional cost. Again, अगर हमारी भी बात भी करें, सो हम लोगों ने क्लैरिको में पिछले 20 साल से 25 साल से जितना भी कुछ किया, हम लोगों ने अब सब कुछ ऑटोमेट करना शुरू करा बिकॉज वी नो कि स्टार्टअप्स कैन नॉट अफोर्ड to lose out on data. Data is the king now. I think this is a very, very valid statement. Every entrepreneur has said that in the past. So just ensure that your data rooms are always corrected and they're available on cloud. So you can just pull out the data anytime, and anybody wants, you might get a deal. Elevator pitches are very common. You get a deal with an investor, and you're able to show them the data. That's how data rooms should work. And your CFOs, again, hiring a full-time CFO when the question comes in, when that should come in, I think that's a call that every entrepreneur should take once you have the requisite knowledge and the finance team operational for it. Till the time you're only working with structuring with part-time bookkeepers, outsource experts, uh, again, softwares can help you out in that domain. Back-end operations should be the minimal expense of the company, and at the same point in time, the most efficient expense of the company. So please ensure you have the right consultants around it. You are automating your businesses using softwares while having proper acknowledged experienced people doing the job. I'm not saying CAs are bad. I'm not saying financial consultants do not know what they're doing. And I'm some you people are working with the best of the people around the country. But if you have problems with them, speak out to them first. And if they're not solving the problem, then you can move on. There are options available. In case that is not there, then trust me, at some point of time, even if you take a growth, you are going to suffer. So don't take this lightly, and at the same point of time, don't invest so much into it that it starts costing you a bomb. So play intelligently, work on creating products, hiring products like where you can have quick answers, cloud based AR modules जहाँ पे आप invoicing cloud पे बैठ के कर रहे हैं, वो data आपके accounting tool के अंदर sync कर देता है. The best way forward for you guys. आपको AR की चिंता नहीं करनी because AR is one of the parts. AP के अंदर if you have cash discounting opportunities, you should be able to grasp them. बड़ा छोटी छोटी चीजें होती है फाइनेंस डोमेन के अंदर which can save you money, which can save you, which can make it big for you guys. So just ensure that you are into that space. I would love hearing questions around it if anybody has anything, and I would love to answer them.
Yes, I think Ankit, before moving to the questions, I would love for you to explain to the audience like what all the essential elements of a data room is, because you mentioned data room that investors need. So I believe many of the founders might not have reached that stage yet where they have had the data room being asked by the investors. So, what all elements does a data room have, and how much time does it ideally take to create one?
So, Ridhima, if I'll answer the data room question in a quick manner because it's a very elaborative topic and I'll probably take another session around it. But when if we talk about data room, there are few elements which every investor looks at. The first element that every investor looks at in data room is what is your compliance status. How much compliant are you? How much you compliant you are not. Second thing is the customer acquisition, the CACs, customer acquisition cost. How you have been able to reduce the CACs, how have you been managing the CACs around it. So that is one part that in a data room should look like. So if you are saying that you have 500 customers around, you need to get them validated. Saying that we have 500 active customers or we have 1000 active customers or this is the product revenue cycle looking like, it might not be valid. Again, data room should talk about what the key assumptions that you have taken in when you're giving a financial projections and what are the bases behind it. So few elements I'm just talking about. Then the audited balance sheets, P&Ls of the world, your accounting data, your supporting documents. So investors have a right on everything primarily. If you have a payroll cost running, and then you should have a ready-made payroll sheets available with you guys. What is my monthly payroll expense? उस payroll expense में क्या directors ने अपनी कोई salary तो नहीं ली भी. All those should be identified in a data room per se. Then आपकी income tax की returns आपने timely file करी है नहीं करी, those should be present. Your any kind of notices that you have received or your team is working on it, those should be present in the data room. Your any kind of legal hassles that the company might be in because of your mistake or because of your team members mistake or because of you might have filed some legal suits against your customers, so or against your any other person, so those data should be available. In case you say that आप लोगों ने कोई ट्रेडमार्क वगैरह ले रखा है तो उसके लिए जो भी आपने डॉक्यूमेंटेशन की होगी for patentable search and all those things, those should be reasonably available with you guys. So that's the kind of a data room investors look like. Yes, I don't know how many people are actually there right now, but yes, this should be readily available. They are one of the biggest let-offs for any investors when the due diligence partners report that this data was not provided to us and this data was not provided, because every investor should, every promoter should understand that data rooms are generally, DDs are not a never-ending task. They generally come with a timeline, 1 month, 1.5 months. So the financial consultants like us, when they're hired to do a DD, we generally give them a timeline thinking that boss, our data will be provided to us within 10 days, 15 days. If they're not, they're not. So then the challenges come in. So those are the some of the data that should be there. Bank statements is one more thing. A lot of investors have started asking for bank statements of late because they want to understand what's the bank statements looking like. Another important part of data rooms is variation analysis. If assuming your marketing expense last year was 10,000 and this year it's 1 lakh, why is the 90,000 gap come in? So those answers or those data rooms should be quickly available with the promoters at every point of time.
Got
Anybody?
it.
Yeah.
I think that was very elaborative, and I would love to open the floor for any more questions that you have.
Okay, go
So
to the
yeah,
next level.
yeah. I think you had already asked a question. So if anyone else has a question, I would love to give them a chance first. Otherwise, we can come to your question. Yeah, yeah. I think you can go ahead with your question.
Hello. Sorry, I'm again asking a question. Actually, I want to ask you where to purchase this virtual data room and how much cost it will be for the startup and all. Because
Ma'am,
I
anything?
have trademark, patent, everything which you are talking. And so, if from the initial stage, if we will manage this data room, so maybe in the future it will be not problem for us.
Ma'am, I would love to answer the question in two different parts, but I'll just at the end of the meeting, I'll probably share a link with you. You can book a
All right.
one-to-one session with my team, and they will come back to answering this data room thing. It's not
Okay.
a very
Okay.
complicated thing. It's an easy thing. The pricing part, we just don't want to elaborate right now. We can
Okay. Not
later.
an issue.
Sure.
All right. Any more questions till now? Anybody wants to share anything? I think Arshid ji, you want to share anything?
No, no, no. No.
All right. So anybody has a question? Yeah, somebody has raised a hand. Karthik, please ask your question. Yes.
Hello everyone. I'm Karthik.
Hi, Karthik.
I'm currently building Brightwords, so which is in service-based company.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a startup. We are yet to do the company registration. So
Okay.
if you can guide me a local CA who can get me done the founders agreement and any other document related to that, right from registering the company, can you just list down the or quote the entire price for this entire process?
Karthik, you are
If you
based
can,
out of where, please?
can you repeat me, sir?
You are based out of which city?
Bangalore.
You're based out of Bangalore. So, Karthik, my team will get back to you on this probably. If Meenu Sethi or Anam will probably reach out to you tomorrow or on Monday, and we can take it forward from there. If it's fine with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Yeah, sure.
But if you can give me an overview just of how it might look like, could be good.
So, overview, Karthik, are two things. The first is that you need to first start incorporating your company, man. That's the first job. So, generally, founders agreement will look like. So, you how many founders you are?
Two founders?
So, you are two founders. Sorry, I didn't
Yeah,
get you. Yeah.
two founders,
Okay.
sir.
Two founders. So, right now you're 50-50% partners.
Yes, sir.
Uh, so you can the first thing is that you should guys first is understanding what is the kind of money that is going to get imported. That's a founders agreement, as you said. So you need to be probably be jotting it down. The another part is opening up a company, private limited company, because I'm sure you will be looking out for raising funds in the near future. So you should open up a private limited company, get the registrations processes done, get the certificate of incorporation, and get your startup DPITs all done. Another thing that you should be focusing on is getting all you noting down all the expenses that you're doing. Generally, startups fail to manage all the pre uh, incorporation expenses. So in case you guys have that pre incorporation expenses, then that will be of great help. All those accounting can be done properly. Another part is once you are there, then your bank accounts will have to be open, your GST registrations will have to be done, because in case you're procuring material, then you don't want to be losing out on the input for the near future. Like Dr. Anu ka jo example, if you were part of the discussions earlier, so Dr. Anu was specific in that question, that she's not having any sales, but she has the GST input which is getting blocked in. And as I said, future में वो जब आप sales करोगे तो वो आपको help करेगा कार्तिक. So all those things can be monitored and managed out better.
Correct. I think that
Okay.
I hope that answers your question, Karthik. So, Ankit ji, I think there are many startups who are actively generating revenue. They are generating 1 lakh, 5 lakhs, and even more than that. So,
Sure.
if you can share some insights for them, like what are the traps for them that once you are in the growth stage, some things are maybe not you don't just you just keep on scaling without being mindful about it. So, what are some factors you should always keep checking? When should you keep check them? How should you check them?
Sure.
Things like that.
So, thank you, Ridhima. I think few points that I would like to bring to notice is that what is your revenue collection in? So, generally होता क्या है हम सबके साथ ये प्रॉब्लम हम सबको लगता है कि हमारा जो रेवेन्यू है that is let's assume 1 crore, let's assume 10 lakhs, but our bank account doesn't show 10 lakhs. We are still struggling. So why this happens is हम लोगों का invoice raise हो गए time से, but the follow-ups have not been done. And we live in a country where unfortunately payments are not made till the time follow-ups happen. So, as promoters, we are engaged in too many things. So the follow-ups have to be automated. That is one part of the job that have to be brought in. That is one thing that I think everybody should be mindful of. Second thing is when you are doing sales, आप लोग वो expenses को multiply मत करिए. जनरली हम सब सोचते हैं कि सेल्स एंड मार्केटिंग पे जितना पैसा लगाएंगे यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई योर सेल्स एंड मार्केटिंग स्ट्रैटेजी. Once that strategy has worked out for you, then you can start replicating it, increasing the sales. But don't be in a rush to try out 10 different strategies. We have seen that with a lot of companies. हम सब कुछ साथ में करते हैं, यही नहीं पता कि किससे रिजल्ट आ रहा है. That is one trap. किसी ना किसी से रिजल्ट आ रहा है, that is for sure, but try something out. If it fails, go to the next strategy. If your money will keep on, आपका पैसा उतना ही लगना है at every strategy, but at least you'll have which strategy worked for you. So your expenses and your CAC is going to now be a little on the dynamic side, on the managed side. Trap which again compliances, जैसा हमने मैंने बोला भी अपने presentation के अंदर, just ensure that your compliances are done on time, they're done with entire automations. You people have an MIS report updated, what compliances have been done and what not been done. All those things should be monitored and being taken up very carefully. I think that is one part of the job that should be done. Again, another trap is product costing. अगर आप लोग प्रोडक्ट कॉस्टिंग के अंदर इन्वॉल्व नहीं है, जहाँ पे आपको यही नहीं पता, अगर इफ यू आर इनटू मल्टीपल प्रोडक्ट्स, so and what is the pricing of the product, generally what we have observed with technical people is that they are very good in the product. The products are the key for them, but in case they feel like people are they're not able to generate money because primarily, and I say primarily because the costing is wrong. They might be they have not considered input costs, they have not considered cash flow losses, they have not considered interest cost on the banks, they have not considered multiple domain things, again rents and all those things, while building up a costing for them. So those things should be taken into account for scaling and everything out. So those part of the job should be taken into considerations. That's some of the advices for the start revenue generations. And again, I think automation has to be done for every startup. You should not be losing out money because people wanted to pay you, but because there was no reminder that has not been paid. SaaS based products पे जाइए sir. Every startup, my advice to every company is go for sort technology. Don't think technology is an expense. Think technology is an investment. They're not expensive. SaaS is not expensive any longer. You have SaaS in every domain. Sales CRMs are there. Finance CRMs are there. You have technology at every point of time available with you guys. Focus on that, and I think it should be a win-win situation for everybody.
Sure, that is a very good answer actually. And yeah, if anybody in the audience has a question, meanwhile you can raise your hand to ask your question. Also, there is one misconception question that we have been asked repeatedly, that how do I calculate my CAC? There's a fallacy that maybe in a D2C business it is far easier because you know how much you're paying to a marketplace, how much you are is the cost of goods to manufacture, but and how much you have those things much more clear. In a software business, how do you actually calculate the CAC?
So, software business CAC is, as I said, one strategy at a time. Don't get into we made the same error in CFO method. Let me be very honest with you. We learned with that. So you can try multiple strategies and you don't know what is giving you sales. So you end up spending much more than what you should be doing. So try one strategy at a time. You should first, if you're going through a distributor model for software businesses, go through that. If you're going through your online reach, you should go that. The first step, I believe, for every startup or every company has to be the product fit. Once you know for SAC, for IT products, that how can you how you can probably just be clear about it, कि आपका वो linkage कैसे create हो रहा है. That's very important. If and I think the first 100 customers or 500 customers have to be brought in by the promoters themselves for any software business. So your CAC for first 100 customers should actually be very minimal, because they should be focused around the promoter by selling it to you guys. That's one suggestion for the SaaS based products companies that are there. पहले 100 clients 500 clients पे, तो you should focus completely कि how the sales are going to happen, because you don't know the pricing at which the market is going to accept the product. You have very little idea. आपको अपने competitors को भी देखना पड़ेगा कि आपके competitors होंगे हर business के अंदर, and what is the differentiating factor, but they will have a legacy around it which you might not have. So you be very clear around all those things, and I'm sure it becomes a win-win situation. That's one thing that for with regard to the SaaS product, how to calculate CAC. That's very important.
All right. Any figures that are considered industry standard for various business for
Uh,
various industries?
it's too dynamic now, Ridhiman, to give a number right now. I think it will not be fair. But the industry is becoming very dynamic. So everything has changed. I recently came across a startup who has just scrapped off data out of cloud, and they're now reaching out people on WhatsApp through WhatsApp, a tool which they got written by a software company on customized level. So their CAC is extremely low, because they're primarily building everything based on outsourcing models initially, but yes, afterwards their life will be much more easier. So the dynamics have changed, the market scenarios have changed. There is no one particular number that I can like now say for a particular industry.
Got it. So I think, John T, you have raised your hand. I would love to give this
Yes.
opportunity.
Yes.
You can ask a question.
Thank you so much. So basically, uh, from my side, actually, this is not not my question. So some of participants who are doing, 5.65 lakh per month businesses, and that person वो यहाँ पे join नहीं कर पाया आज because of some prior commitment, but उन्होंने मुझे questions personally भेजा है. तो उनका यह है कि जो आपका ऑटोमेशन वाला जो पार्ट है, तो
Sure.
उनका भी वो अभी कुछ पर्टिकुलर सॉफ्टवेयर यूज कर रहे हैं एंड उनके पास उनका खुद का टीम भी है जो कि मैनेज कर रहा है. सो ही वाज keen to know about more about your software and what you are actually building, and वो किस तरीके से जो ऑटोमेट वाले चीज हैं अफोर्डेबल वे में उनके बारे में थोड़ा सा वो समझना चाह रहे थे. बिकॉज वी विल शेयर दिस पर्टिकुलर रिकॉर्डिंग विद एवरी रजिस्टर्ड पार्टिसिपेंट्स. सो
Sure.
प्लीज कैन यू जस्ट रिफ्लेक्ट ऑन दैट.
Sure. So I'll answer that question. I think Harshit is the right person to share that answer, but I'll still try to answer that. Harshit, you can jump in if you require. So हम लोग टेक्नोलॉजी में क्या कर रहे हैं, Jonty and all the participants here. So as I said, there are multiple people around which the problems occur. So one of the problems is हम सब lean teams होते हैं. So the follow-ups are very staggered. आपको वो क्लाइंट जब पैसा देना होता है तो वो बहुत सारे बहाने बना देता है. Please send me a reminder, please send me the ledger, please send me everything out. So what we have done is we have introduced a chatbot on an invoicing level, so those questions can be answered straight away. So जो आपका invoice है, that will now start communicating. So think about it. You probably would have seen Make My Trip. You would have probably seen HDFCs of the world. They've now introduced Myra, Zivas of the world, where you can interact with them. So now there is an interaction which will happen at your invoice level.
Yeah.
Harshit, that would be great if you can share the screen and product a demo, probably just see a small demo of it. It will actually be, it will help. The other part that we are automating is, so हम लोग क्या करते हैं, Jonty, typically we get in, if you're revenue generating. If you're not revenue generating, then we offer Billiantra, because you don't need a accounting software right now. Or you are lesser than 2 lakh, 3 lakh of revenue. So one thing, Jonty, is that in case you have a revenue of 5 lakh rupees a month, so आपको सिस्टम से हम टैली या कोई भी जो आपका अकाउंटिंग टूल होगा, हम उससे उसे इंटीग्रेट कर देंगे. सो ऑल द डेटा दैट इज देयर इन योर अकाउंटिंग टूल विल गेट शोन इन सीएफओ मंत्रा, एंड सीएफओ मंत्रा का अकाउंटिंग से टूल से जो भी डेटा होगा वो बैक फ्लो भी करा देंगे हम आपका अकाउंटिंग टूल के अंदर. सो ऑल द थिंग्स आर गेटिंग रिकॉर्डेड. सो इफ यू हैव एन एआर टीम व्हिच इज वर्किंग, तो जो मैनुअल फॉलो अप करने होते हैं वो सब कुछ हम ऑटोमेट फॉलो अप शुरू करा देंगे आपके लाइफ में. Then there are certain parts that we have worked in the software with regard to consolidated reports. So if you have distributors around, if you have aging reports that are very critical for your business, we work on that domain. Another part for revenue generating businesses that we are now focusing is on AP domain. So this is one solution that is definitely there. With regard to AP, cash discounting नाम का एक concept होता है. So if you buy a product, you on cash it's generally 100, and if you buy it on credit, it's 105. So what is that 5 rupees? That 5 rupees often talks about your kind of your cash discounting element. So आप अगर सोच के देखें तो 5 रुपए is an opportunity loss. So you are probably paying money for your opportunity. You are paying for the socio-economic risk that the entrepreneur is taking on you.
Yeah.
But what if you can make that payment in 10 days? Once you're making that payment in 10 days, then the only cost that you should be ideally be paying is the cost of the interest that the guy has paid for 10 days for funding your business. It's an indirect way of funding the business, but yes, he might have funded your business for 10 days. So you can definitely ask for some discount, 2%, 3% का कुछ तो discount मिल ही सकता है ना, because profit margin तो 100 रुपए में भी था.
Absolutely.
Think about it that way. So with regard to AP, we automated in that direction, where we say that you can now start doing into those. We typically are not an accounting tool, CFO Mantra. We typically are a cash flow management tool. That's why the name CFO Mantra. So it's cash flow mantra primarily. And we try to improve the cash flows of the company with regard to automations.
Wow.
And for startups, what we do is we offer them Bill Yantra out of CFO Mantra. It's a product out of CFO Mantra. There's a difference in the costing price, obviously. Now, for startups, we give them a module, a cloud-based billing tool, so they can sit anywhere in the entire world, have their data ready for the AR and HPP space, AAR space, sorry, for Billiantra, and they can start invoicing and talk to more people about it. So that's so basically we are kind of a roadmap or a kind of a data center for startups and the promoters with revenue generating from their accounting tool. So midway between them, we are sitting there.
got it. Even personally, I also feel कि बहुत सारे vendors हमारे साथ जब काम करते हैं वो जीएसटी तो कलेक्ट कर लेते हैं, but they didn't, वो अपना जीएसटी उसमें पोर्टल में शो नहीं करते हैं या वो जमा नहीं करते हैं, तो वो एक पिन पॉइंट है आई थिंक। अब जो आपकी
So
सॉफ्टवेयर एग्जैक्टली उस चीज पे काम भी कर रहा है।
so we generally tend to send follow-ups for these guys. So
हाँ
हम लोग client को क्या suggest करते हैं कि if the guy has not given you a GST money, so आप उसका डेबिट नोट या क्रेडिट नोट बना के उसके ऊपर डाल दो, and the follow-ups will start off कि either
got
pay the GST amount or pay this amount back to us because you have not filed the GST, so we're not able to claim the inputs.
got it. Yeah, much clear. Thank you so much for your answer.
Thank you, Jonty.
Hmm.
Harshit, you would like to jump in on things?
No, things are good. I mean, if you want, I can show the demo.
If the audience wants, I don't know. Ridhima and Jonty can probably take a call on that.
If you would like to see a demo, then we can go ahead with a demo. And if you would like to ask any questions, we are good to go with the questions as well. So if you are interested, only then we'll do this thing. So if
Yeah, we
any,
otherwise actually.
yeah,
So you can put in actually link to on the chat to book on the calendar or a one-to-one meeting with us for the demo or for any questions further. They can you can ask, you can book an appointment, you can book a schedule, and we'll catch up with on that side and help you out with any questions or the demo of the product if you are interested, like Ankit just mentioned.
sure. I think Priyanka ji showed a thumbs up. I think she's interested in the demo for sure. So if it does not take much time, then we can go ahead with it because it's already around 6. So we would love to answer the questions that people have here.
Let's have the questions,
Yeah.
Alex, if there are any, because the demo will take 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes or so. Ankit, what do you suggest?
We can share the demo link of YouTube also on the group if there are questions with the audience.
Sure, that works. And
I'm
yeah,
just sharing
if
the thing.
anybody would like to discuss anything regarding to your accounting processes or your cash flow or anything that you would love to get a expert advice on, we have C. Ankit Jain here with us right now. Should definitely utilize this opportunity. The floor is open for questions because we all are founders here, and it is good to take expert advice when we have. Otherwise, it's difficult to get an expert advice, especially for early stage founders, right? So it's better to take it right now. If you have a question, you can raise your hand or put it in the chat box. If you would like to discuss it personally, that's completely fine. I've shared you the Calendly link in the chat. You can do it personally because it's, yeah, Mr. Ram Babu, he's asking for the YouTube channel link. Harshit ji, you can
I'm
drop
just
it.
sharing. Yeah, I'm just sharing.
Yes, you can just share it here. I think, yeah, thank you so much. So yeah, if anybody has a question, I think we received a couple of questions in the Luma chat as well. Yeah, in the Luma chat as well that people had raised. They are currently expanding or scaling, and they are not able to understand how to keep tab of you know new and incoming compliances that are with it. So if you can just quickly share the different stages and if any additional compliances come up at each stage of the business so that the startups can be aware of those beforehand.
So, with regard to compliances, Ridhima, to be honest, there are not too many compliances. As I said, compliance is one of the easiest jobs in the world now. You have to be cautious when you have investors coming in. There are ROC compliances which jump in case you are not, so there are turnovers, so till the time your turnover is not exceeding 2 crores, you can file your GST returns on a quarterly basis. You till the time you there is a rule 14D which was introduced for GST which said that you can probably take a compliance GST registration now in 2 days, and in case your turnover exceeds 2.5 lakh rupees a month, then you need to take a full-time GST number. All those are there and those can be definitely worked out. Another part that you guys can focus on, um, uh, that you should be bothered is ROC. With regard to ROC compliances, in case you have directors who are coming in case you have shareholders who are coming in, you need to report pass forms. There are forms that have to be filed in. Just ensure that there are no leakages or there are no era where you're not hired a professional to do it. Don't try to do compliances by yourself. There are, as I said, we have also introduced low cost accounting concepts. Now we have affordable accounting concepts where we're trying to help out startups with on multiple domains. We so That's one advice to everybody with regard to compliances. It just keep a track on it at all the points. That's something perfectly great.
Sure. So, like you mentioned, there are some leakages that might happen, or there is. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Ram Babu. No problem. Thank you so much for attending, and thank you so much for the kind words. So, as you mentioned, that there are some leakages that might occur. What are the best accounting practices? What are the best practices that one should follow, so that they are aware that they are not doing something wrong unintentionally.
So one part, Ridhima, that as I said, have in my session also, I was clear that have all the time you should have reconciliations with you on the table. You should know that your GST returns are being filed on time. You should know that your input credits have come in. You should be all the time aware of your um, ROC compliances. In case you have money coming in from abroad, then FDI and FEMA compliances have to also be taken into account. In case you're doing export sales, then FIRCs have to be filed. All those small details should be available. There are penalties, till the time all these compliances are done. You might do it in a wrong number. There might be errors which will happen. There's a lot of manual work involved in compliances, but errors are different from mistakes.
Okay.
And when you're choosing your partners, just choose them carefully. When your vendors, your sales customers, that just choose them in the best possible, do that due diligence, ensure that they don't have a shady backgrounds. I
Okay.
was trying to find a better word but couldn't. So just ensure that they have not done non-compliances in the past. They don't have too many of notices for wrong practices.
Okay.
So that's one of the advices.
So how can that be verified? Like in this domain of where CAs and people who are helping companies with compliances, is there a way to verify that we are working with the right kind of people who have good outcomes?
So you can do some basic checks. You cannot do too much, but you can do some basic checks. For example, on GST websites, you have a return filing data available. So you can look into the return data filing available. You can, in the MCA is a public domain. You have a lot of data. If you're working with a private limited company, you have a lot of data available. Just ensure that they have done their basic compliance. The company is remaining active. The directors have been active enough. They have not been prosecuted of anything. That they are available on a company level. I think at a startup level, all these things can be done. Obviously, I would not suggest methodologies right now which involves money. I will not ask them for claiming valuation reports or goodwill reports, because that I'm sure people will not give them at this point of time. But at the same point of time, they can do basic checks. They can see whether they've uploaded the returns properly or not. If they can download. It's a 100 rupee cost. It's not much. They can download the publicly available data from ROCs. They can read that. In case there are any red flags available in the audit reports or in the financial statements and notes to accounts, they can at least be notified of them, and then they can take their own calls. So what are the ratios looking like in the balance sheets? They should do some kind of due diligence. Working with Obviously, if you're working with brands, then you might not be doing that, because they are brands, so they will definitely do that. But if you're not working with brands or bigger corporates, then this
Correct.
is one way of managing things out.
Okay. So yeah, if anyone has a question, you can raise your hand, and I would, before going, I would love to ask you a serious question that many of us here have. So, because you are a CA, and in this profession, you are very well aware of the industry practices, the best practices that should be followed. So, what are some red flags, or what are some things that make one uh, CA or one finance person stand out from the other? So, how should one be looking at it? Like an early stage startup, should they go for the cheapest one who just does the basic filing? What is the requirement at which stage? Or should they actually be investing in a proper CA at the very early stage? Like, what do you recommend?
So I will, to be very honest, I'm somebody who doesn't like to criticize my fellow chatters. I will not answer it the way probably some of you would like to hear. But just a simple clues on selecting a financial partner. But for A, choose somebody whom you are comfortable with in speaking. You should so there's a very famous saying that says doctors and CAs and lawyers should be somebody whom you can probably be very open with. So choose somebody whom you think that is you are making comfortable. First thing. Second thing is choose somebody whom you are ready to listen. Another advice to all the fellow startups entrepreneurs is very simple. Choose somebody whom you're ready to listen, whom you believe has the right knowledge to guide you, and the right mindset to help you out with. A lot of times people come to us asking that they cannot pay us money right now. Let's be very honest and very straightforward with this. But are you ready to invest into us? So why will I invest? That is one part. If I'm ready to invest, then that definitely means that then you should then there are 2 points. A, if I can if I'm willing to invest into it, then the product is good. That actually kinds of gives you a startup. Second thing is, if I'm investing in you without any commercials, then obviously I am showing interest in the equity domain. I believe that you have some build something which can grow up. So working with somebody like me on that space might be helpful. Again, and I say like me, I'm just giving hypothetical examples here. Another red flag for choosing, or another green flag in Gen Z language for choosing a financial consultant, should be the kind of team that the person has. If he's a one man show, he cannot contribute too much. So I'm sure most of us would have seen Stark Tanks. उसमें
Yeah.
Aman effectively told into one of the startups in early seasons that we are not going to make your business your business. It's your baby. It's your hard work. We are only going to put in money. So this is the exact thing. If I don't have a team, so I will obviously cannot be in. I cannot put up my time. If I have 100 clients, I cannot give 10 minutes to everybody and then expect to be providing. So my team has to be there for doing the basic things. If the team is not there, then the guy is going to be either too busy in all the clients that he has, or he's not going to be the right man for the job. So that's one thing that you should look out is how the team is handling you, what is the kind of professional setup that the guy is coming out with, whether he's understanding your pain as a fellow entrepreneur or not. Some of the startups, I generally believe a lot of CAs are good. Yeah.
Correct, correct. I think that was really helpful. And with this, I would we are over just over 1 hour, and we have taken a lot of your time. And
Oh, nice.
the startups have been eagerly with us since the very start. So with this, if anybody has a question, we are ready to take it. Otherwise, I would recommend, because this is something related to your business finances, you can take it up one on one with CFO Mantra Clarico, Mr. Ankit Jain and Harshit Gupta ji. We have shared the link. We will be sharing the link in the group as well. If you're not added in the group, I recommend you join it. We have shared the link earlier as well. So you can just join the group. And if you have any questions, anything, you can post it in the group. You can stay connected. There is the entire fraternity is part of the group who can help you out. There are good startups doing, great revenues. And, we can help each other out in this domain. And of course, our experts are there as well in the group. So with that, I would love to take your leave. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Ankit ji. Thank you so much, Harshit ji.
Thanks.
If you have
Thank you.
anything in the end to share, I would love to give you that
No,
anything to say.
just one thing. I say excellently moderated. A lot of questions were asked. But thank you for that. And I would love to stay connected with the startups and see if we can help each other out in the future.
Yeah,
Thank you to
definitely.
the
And
audience to join us and seeing us. And yes, we can connect.
yeah, thank you so much. And I would definitely recommend to check out, Clarico and CFO Mantra. I believe it is solving some of the real pain points of businesses that we all could resonate with. That's why we are here today, right? We all could resonate that, payments are an issue, cash flows are an issue, margins, tracking all of them, the data room when the investor asks for it, that could be a really big delay. So if there is a product in the Indian market that has been created by a CA himself to solve it, and we have them with us, I think we should definitely, check it out. It could be really helpful to some of us folks and to share it. So yeah, I think only for this session, whoever attended, you can book a call with C. Ankit Jain. He has allowed us to share that meet link with you. So take care and bye bye. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And thank you. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you,
Good
everybody.
day.
So much, everyone. Thank you. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day, great weekend. Bye bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.